You're watching 1700 on Channel 31 with Eliza, and right now we're stoked to be joined by my Maddie from the Incredible
Maddie.
from the Incredible Belle Bloom. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
No,
I appreciate it.
Of course, we love you having you here. So we've just seen your amazing performance of Chance to Miss You. What is the story behind the song, and what was the process of creation like?
Yeah, so I guess I wrote this song during the pandemic, as a lot of our songs on the EP were actually written in that time. And this song is about like missing someone specifically, but also it's like about missing community and just like holding space for that and understanding that like missing someone isn't always a bad thing. It just makes you want to see them more.
Yeah, I think that's a really good concept, especially after what we've just
Yeah.
experienced. So your style itself is described as like a neo soul, alternative pop, and jazz rock vibe, which is a pretty eclectic mix. Do you find it difficult to define your style when you've got so many different elements going on?
I would say it's really hard to describe when like the variation between solo and band stuff. So I would say when I am performing solo, it's probably more along the lines of like soul, folk, and maybe with some jazz or like R&B fused in there. But like when I'm with the band, it's a lot more rocky jazz.
Rocky jazz vibe.
Rocky jazz pop.
I love it. So when you're with your band, is it, especially when you're rehearsing and like creating new music and production, is it difficult to kind of navigate to a certain element or certain style, especially for one song?
I think that they make it really easy actually. I think
Yeah.
we write really well together, and they make it very easy to kind of bring my ideas to them, and then they package it in sometimes a way that I would like say, hey, I want this song to be this way, and then they'll just do exactly what I ask them to. But most of the time, like, they'll add their flavour, and it makes it really exciting because I think we all come from pretty different musical backgrounds, so it always makes the music much better because it's kind of more informed, I guess.
Yeah, it's it's really cool to have that. So Glimmer is your debut EP, which was released a few weeks ago. Does it have a particular backstory, a theme across the 10 tracks?
Yeah, well, community, I guess. Community is the main theme, I would say, on the EP, and it's just like, I think it was nice to release that, I guess, just after COVID and while we had still been going through like certain lockdowns and stuff, because it was important for me to feel a sense of community, but also like anyone that I'd spoken to had been feeling that kind of like longing, like through isolation. And it's like, it's really hard to kind of express your love for people sometimes, and yeah, I mean, this is my expression. So yeah,
for sure. Was it really hard to kind of produce that during COVID? Did you have to do
Yeah.
interesting techniques in order to produce such a, 10 tracks? It's quite a lot.
Yeah, well, so the vinyl has 10 tracks, which is sick, and then the actual EP itself is 5 tracks. So with a vinyl, like, you can get 5 tracks that we've already released, like, on it, which is exciting. But yeah, the Glimmer EP is on one side, and I mean, I guess it was pretty hard to put together, especially because we couldn't really like catch up to write. And that was probably the hardest part about the whole thing. And then like locking in studio dates was just like a nightmare. Because like you'd lock it in and then it'd be like, no,
way too hard.
lockdown.
Lockdown, can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah. But I would say like it was relatively easy to produce the music.
That's really good.
The band makes it very easy.
Yeah, that's. I guess that's a positive.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
if you had a really bad band. It's like, I can't do it.
I can't do it.
I can't do it anymore.
I can't.
So, as we talked about your project, this wonderful project, it was about community, and obviously with COVID, was there anything? I guess that's a through line for the whole singles, but is there anything in particular apart from that stood out particularly that you wanted to express from your work, apart from community and, I guess, during that crazy time?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that my music, for the most part, is very much infused with love for like yourself or for people, and I always really try and put that into my lyricism. I think I have a pretty strong sense of self, which is really great for me. I think my mum definitely instilled that in me from a very young age. So I think it is really important for people to hear music and feel at home. And I want people to feel at home when they're listening to Velvet Bloom stuff.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful. And now, obviously, you've been so experienced with your work. Are you talking to me before? You've done this since forever, at least 5 years, which is amazing. On this new creation of work, did you experience with different styles, as in like the whole team, your whole crew, when creating it, or did you kind of tend to stick to your, I guess, your well-known type of vibe?
Yeah, I mean, it's this specific EP was like, and this body of music was really special to us because instead of just like booking a studio and like getting everything smashed out, we recorded it in a friend's space for the most part. So like, awesome. He's amazing. Sorry, I'm so stuffy.
That's okay. I understand.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's from a band called the Grogans, and he has like a incredible home studio, and so he recorded most of it there. And it was just really cool to work with him because obviously he knows our music really well. He's one of our really good friends. So actually creating something that sounds exactly what you would intend for it to was very easy with him. And also we had time. Like, time is so important when you're recording. Like, time to just like be in the studio and listen to it and be like, oh, actually, like maybe this guitar part would sound better like this, or like, I don't know, slightly. You can change things and you have the flexibility of changing things. I think that's really, that was the main thing that I noticed about this EP. Yeah.
Amazing. So we've obviously heard a little bit about Velvet Bloom's debut EP, but up next we'll be chatting about the exciting performance and tour plans for the year ahead. So stay tuned. Welcome back to 1700 on Channel 31 with Eliza. We're joined by Maddie from Velvet Bloom. So you've been fortunate enough to go on tours and perform with some amazing bands and artists, including Kim Churchill, Death by Denim, Dolce, and so much more. Have you picked up on some performing techniques and tricks from them to adapt to your own personal performances?
Oh, that's a good one. I think that it's just really cool to see how their management all works. Like, for example, when I went on tour with Great Gable, like, all the behind the scenes stuff, like Kelsey, their manager, is such a legend. She like creates all these like tonics and stuff, and like these like spoonfuls of like chili and garlic, and so like good. Yeah, just like keep them healthy. So yeah, I think I started incorporating like that kind of stuff into like my own performances so that I didn't get sick. But like, here we are. So like, but no, they're all such incredible musicians, and it's really inspiring to be able to go on tour or to, you know, even sit side of stage and like watch them and root for them. Yeah,
it seems like
great.
Such a cool experience.
Yeah.
Now you are also the co-founder of a live music space, Fem Jams, which encourages and empowers diverse music. How did that project come about?
Yeah, so I used to run a space at a place called Alley Cat, and we would put on, or I would put on events that were focused on gender diversity. And so within those events, like, we kind of created this really nice little community, and someone who we were speaking to was talking about a jam night where she'd had a very bad experience where her keyboard had been turned off by like a male person, and yeah, she kind of just said like how much that not only like hurt her feelings, but also like how much that made her like very, very shy and like timid when it came to like performing, and performing like especially in an improvised like jam space. So yeah, we were just like, why don't we just create something like where we can kind of like foster this community and make sure that women feel safe and respected in an improvised jam space, and also like, you know, get rid of the snobbery, I think. Because
Yep.
I think that people think that you can only get on stage if you're like a musician or like if you're a singer, but you really just can do it.
You do
know?
it. I
Yeah.
love it. It's such a great concept, and I think it's so prevalent in today's society as well. Now, a little bit sidestepping, completely different, a little bit. You have your next upcoming EP launch is at the TOF in Melbourne really soon. What can your fans expect?
Oh, you can expect some incredible supports like Holy Heave, which is
Ooh.
very exciting, and Ed Moon. Yeah, we've got some very fun things in store for that one. But we're going to be playing our latest EP, Glimmer, and yeah, we've got some things.
Got some things
some
in the
very
works.
exciting things.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I guess this is about performing. What do you love most about performing live, and is there a particular place you love performing at?
Yeah, I mean, I love performing in general, but I've always really enjoyed like playing at festivals or like outside. I don't know why. I think I've always been very drawn to it. There's the Night Cat in Melbourne just has like the best sound. It's so good, and just to be able to kind of like be in those spaces again and yeah, to do it all again, like after not really being able to for so long, has been really, really great.
I totally agree. I think it's such a great relief to get back out there. Now, finally, where can we find you on our social media, especially for those keen to check out your next show?
Yeah, cool. So you can check out our music at velvetbloom.music on like Instagram, and then you can find our Facebook, and like everything is on like in a link in our bio kind of thing if you're looking for tickets or like just stream or purchase music or vinyls. Yeah.
Nice and simple. That's nice and easy. Well, thank you so much for coming in and chatting with us today. It was amazing to witness your live performance earlier on the show. If you missed it, be sure to find us on YouTube at 1700 TV. If you can't get enough of Velvet Bloom, make sure to check out their socials to keep up with all their goss. We'll be back soon. You're watching 1700.